The new channel. The new channel. Hashtag tncnow.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following shows are those of the host, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the new channel. Our passion transforms a community channel that is all things new. I am Big JJ Lagang para sa bayan, representing the countryside and streaming live na live dito sa Davao City, Philippines. And for this episode ay sasamahan ako ni...
Hi, I'm AJ Maisok, ang kaladkaring madmate from the East, streaming from Cainta, Rizal, watching the Season 1, Episode 5 of Chill and Charity Friday by I Am Making a Difference.
Good evening, magandang gabi, ug maayong gabi, and happy Friday, Team Chappers, greeting start from small beginnings. And so today or tonight, whatever time zones you have, we start by simply believing that you and I, no matter how big or small you are, we can all make a difference.
Charity begins at home and extends to the communities beyond our walls. Cheers and welcome to the 5th episode of Chill and Charity Fridays by I Am Making a Difference, or simply Chicha Fridays by I Am Mad on TNC, where we talk about love, living, learning, and of course, the magic of volunteerism.
At Chicha Fridays, we believe in the power of simplest smiles that can lighten the mood and the simplest acts of kindness that can brighten the world. Let's do good, feel good, and talk good.
For those who have just tuned in, join us every Friday at 6:30 p.m. Philippine Standard Time as we make the start of your every weekend lighter and lovelier with civic engagement conversation that go far beyond politics and chismes.
Again, you're watching Chicha Fridays by Mad para sa masayang bayanihan. Chill na talakayan. Sagi at kulitan, Chick Chappers. Oy, partner AJ, mad ka na ba?
Mad na!
Ayan! Magandang gabi, partner. It's good to be with you in this episode. But before anything else, may gusto tayong i-acknowledge na who made this live broadcast possible, partner. Sino-sino ito sila?
Thank you, Miss Apple Manansala, Chief Executive Producer of TNC, and her production and technical teams. I Am Mad Content Creators Team. This is Mako, Wino, Oyam, Sarah, and the rest of the Grace, madmates, volunteers, and the friends all around the world.
Yes, partner AJ, we will talk about becoming a global advocate for this very special episode for Chicha Fridays by I Am Making a Difference. Actually, partner, this is our first episode for the month of October. Since this is our first Friday and first day, ha? Benang-benang na tayo for this month of October. And as I have said, we will be discussing about becoming a global advocate. Of course, partner AJ, we live in an interconnected world with a growing focus on becoming more globally minded. And what does it mean to be globally connected and conscious youth, and how young people are positively changing the world, especially now that we live in this very challenging times, partner, na may pandemic tayo. So, napaka-exciting ng ating talakayan with Still Time this Friday night. Tama ba, partner AJ?
Yes, totoo yan, partner.
And of course, before anything else, partner, we will have our quick update with regards to our ongoing initiative courtesy of I Am Making a Difference. Nakakatapos lang, by the way, sa lahat po nating mga live viewers, mga chit-chatters. Magandang gabi ulit sa inyo dyan, sa mga late tuners natin. Before natin pag-usapan itong becoming a global advocate, we will be discussing, we will give you updates in terms of our fundraising drive. Nakakatapos lang. This is what we call the Bida Eskwela or the Bigay Ayuda para sa Eskwela Year 2 na nagtapos officially noong September 24, 2021. And I am delighted to be given this chance to give you an update regarding that, because as of today, October 1, with some planning pledges that are coming in, yes, that's right. Our total donations went up to 470,773 pesos and 28 centavos. That's as of today, October 1, 2021. So, ayan, nakikita nyo actually on the bottom of our screens right now, partner AJ, nandyan, no? Confirmed, kumpirmadong partner, umabot na tayo ng 470,000 pesos. And with 10,000 pesos each, we have released a total of 450 pesos fund to 45 schools all over the Philippines, 22 in Luzon, 7 in Visayas, and 16 in Mindanao. Literally from Batanes to Tawi-Tawi ang ating Bida Eskwela Year 2, and up to Sulu pa yan, partner, ha? Batanes, to Tawi-Tawi and Sulu. And for details of the actual proceeds in implementation, again, please check out bit.ly/Bida Tracker. Ayan na nakikita nyo down the screens right there. Yes, that's right. Thank you so much, technical people. Again, that's bit.ly/Bida Tracker. Ayan, so what's up? With us tonight, AJ?
Ayan, partner. Ngayong gabi, ang makakasama natin, isa din siya sa part ng naging Bida Eskwela Year 2 natin. Dahil sa org niya na tinatawag na ASEAN Youth Advocates Network, one of Bida Eskwela's advocacy partners. Ito yung mga credentials niya, partner, at mga chit-chatters. Ang bigatin nating guest for today ay naging awardee ng Global Teen Leader by We Are Family Foundation, a New York-based NGO of 3-time Grammy awardee Nile Rodgers. Founder din siya and chairperson of the ASEAN Youth Advocates Network, National Youth Council member, Worldwide Fund Philippines, President of the Student Catholic Action of De La Salle University, featured in various publications and media, and represented the Philippines in the United Nations and ASEAN, known as the Youth Advocate. Let's welcome Emmanuel Mirus Ponon, or Mirus Ponon for short, si Kuya Mirus. Hi, Kuya Mirus.
Damandang, Kuya Mirus, are you there?
Ayan, hello. Hello, Kuya Jay and Ate Jay. It's so nice to be here. Happy Friday sa inyong lahat.
Yes, Kuya Mirus with some black shirt and some designs. Wow, thank you for being with us tonight. But before we start our show, Kuya Mirus and AJ, and to all our live viewers right now, may mahalaga akong tanong sa inyong lahat. Mad ka na ba?
Mad na.
Mad na. Ayan. So, Cyrus, before we start anything else, pakilala ka naman for the benefit of our viewers right now. Let's get to know you more with this getting to know you or the GTKY style. Give us your full name, nickname, taga saan ka, specific location, kung saan ka right now, and kung anong pinagkakaabalahan. What is your work and anything favorite, particular interest that you want to share with us? Go, Kuya Marius.
All right, so hello ulit sa lahat. My name is Emmanuel Mirus Ponon. Wag niyo po ako kuya, napakabata ko pa po. I just actually turned 20. Ako po ay mula sa Paranaque. And I am a student at De La Salle University. I am actually a scholar and I take up development studies, which you can see is very connected to my advocacy, which is on youth empowerment. And so, yeah, I have a big vision that, the youth are the current change makers of today, and today is actually a very significant day because 2 years ago today was my first founded organization's anniversary. So we're actually calling it our
Wow.
own national holiday. We're calling it Youth Advocate Day. So yeah, that's all for me. I would be delighted to share more about myself, my story, and my organization. Thank you.
Wow, that's nice to hear, di ba? Partner AJ, napakaraming credentials ng ating kasama for tonight.
Nice.
Oo nga. Hindi daw sa natin dapat tawagin palang kuya. Ikaw naman kasi partner, kinukuya
Ako
mo ka.
sorry naman kasi alam ko sa atin sama, di ba lahat ate tsaka kuya.
That's right. But with the chill vibes na kinikreate natin with this TNC, ayan, we'll address Myrus with this first name para naman mas chillax yung usapan natin with this Chicha Fridays. I believe marami tayong gustong malaman with our guest at partner AJ. So ano ba yung mga tanong na nakahain for our guest tonight?
Gusto ko tanongin, ano ba ibig sabihin ng global advocate?
Global advocate. Well, two things. Una, youth advocate. That for a long time, no, like wala pang ang raming naninibago sa word na youth advocate. Ano nga ba ito? And I explain and define it easily as someone that would change what is to what should be. If I were to summarize that and if to give a bigger explanation, it basically means once you see that there has to be something that is to be changed through us, then why not do it? And so now that we know the definition of a youth advocate, which is someone that should change what is to what should be, what is a global youth advocate? It's really the same thing on becoming a youth advocate, but it's on someone being anchored and conscious to becoming a conscious citizen, to act locally yet think globally. And as you can see in my background, these are the sustainable development goals. Despite may in our perspective as Filipinos, despite our goals for the Philippines, especially with the upcoming 2022 national elections, we still should be anchoring ourselves to global goals, to the global goals for sustainable development. And so, yeah, I would define that on what a global advocate should be. It's someone that is acting locally yet thinking globally, then acting to change what is to what should be. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Wow, very well said naman, partner.
Marius, sa yung global development na sinasabi mo, can you give us an example of those? Para alam naman ng mga chit-chatters natin kung ano yung binabanggit mo ng global developments.
Yeah. The Sustainable Development Goals were anchored by the United Nations in 2019 from the Millennium Development Goals. Yung Millennium Development Goals, hindi actually siya pang lahat ng nation. So hindi siya parang pinasa lang porket tapos na yung MDGs from 2000 to 2015. The MDGs were actually anchored to developing countries like the Philippines, third world countries, quote unquote. So, ang Sustainable Development Goals is for all nations and it should be incorporated in all of us. And so, it's actually connected to our mission of making advocacy a lifestyle. of making sustainable living and sustainability thereof a lifestyle. And so it remains a challenge, yes. It's not only solely on the environment, but it is one of the biggest challenges, of course, because of the climate change na nakikita natin. We face so many problems when it comes to diplomacy. Pero yun, yeah, from the biggest goal, which is to eradicate poverty, to providing safe spaces for the youth, to the LGBT community, to the vulnerable groups. These are things that we should tackle for an equitable, sustainable, and just free world. And so the 17 goals by the United Nations basically tell us that. And so it is a very hard thing to do because i- realistically, it would take years to overlap poverty and and the poverty gap that is present. But yeah, the challenge remains, and um, despite looking at it as as a difficult test, getting to meet people, at least one of them, kahit isa sa kanila, would make you want to become conscious, then try to solve on behalf of one of those that are in these vulnerable sectors that we want to address and take care of. Yeah.
Yes, that's right, Myrus. And talagang, yes, partner? Yes. All right.
Go.
So talagang hindi talaga maiiwasan, 'di ba, partner AJ, na if we talk about having this global advocates, or talking about global advocacy, hindi talagang mawawala sa usapan yung ating 17 SDGs, or yung pinupush talaga natin na 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And in line with that, actually may recently, no, may ginanap na SDG Summit dito sa first SDG Summit na ginawa dito sa Philippines, and I think ginawa siya sa General Santos City. So kudos doon sa mga organizers ng first SDG Summit dito sa Philippines na ginanap sa General Santos City. And speaking of these things, Myrus, kindly talk about more of the organization that you are leading, and papaano ba, siguro curious din yung mga nanonood sa atin ngayon, Myrus, papaano mo ba nakilala itong si I Am Making a Difference? And I think you're also one of our partners in terms of raising fund dito nga sa ginagawa nating fundraising campaign, which is the Bida Eskwela na nakaka-year 2 na, this 2021.
Yeah, to answer that, prior to the pandemic, I got to know I am making a difference through one of your co-founders, which is si Kuya Mako. And so prior to that, I got to know him because I saw him as one of the recipients of the CSR award, and I was nominated in 2019. And so recognizing that he was the first from the student category to win the award, I decided to message him as a stranger. That um 2 years after, I would not expect it to happen to for us to have a strong bond and for him to consider one of my mentors. And yes, I've also volunteered for I Am Making a Difference, and through the relationship that I had with Kuya Mako, nakilala ko kayo, yes, and I got, you know I now try to help I Am Making a Difference as much as possible. And so yeah, it's something that every time there would be an opportunity for I Am Mad, talagang nagiging G at nagiging yes ako agad, because let's make a difference together once we have the same vision and mission moving forward. Were it not to mention that I was very inspired by I Am Making a Difference in the first place, then the path to collaborating, the path to educating continues. So yeah, it's a journey that I did not expect, but will definitely take time and time again.
Yes, kindly share to us, Myrus, what is your specific role in this Bida Eskwela campaign of I Am Making a Difference?
Oh yeah, so of course, we want to at least help as much as many schools, and so we tried to publicize and try to connect with as much as a lot of partners and schools to benefit. So not it. A lot of people may think that Vida Escuela is just all about what collecting money, fundraising, which is already a hard thing to do. But it takes partnerships, it takes collaboration, it takes relationships to be bonded with trust, especially in this online setup. So yeah, we tried to do our best. Of course, our social medias there, our volunteers are there. So we're trying our best, and education, especially now, especially as a student and a scholar. I know all about that on a first hand and third hand basis, and it's a really big issue, and we really hope to address it. And through Vida Escuela, it you know it is helping. We want to help more, but yeah, the advocacy and the mission does really continue.
That's right. And on behalf of I Making a Difference, maraming salamat sa iyong suporta at tulong, Myros, for really, helping us to reach our target goal. And actually, nag-extra pa nga tayo in terms of our Vida Stella year goal. And this time naman, partner AJ, usapang Global Teen Leader Award naman tayo from We Are Family Foundation, a New York-based NGO of three-time Grammy awardee Nile Rogers. How did it happen, and what does it mean to you to be recognized globally, Myros?
Yeah, I did mention earlier that I was 20, and I've heard about the Global Teen Leader Award every year. Usually they would select what 30 to 40 teens every year, and I was always offered by it, whether by my professor, by my school, but I would always say no. And so last December when it opened, and I only had what 15 days to apply, I asked my very close friend. Um, if I should push this. And pinilit niya ako. I wanted to back out a lot of times. Applications can get very grueling, di ba? Christmas season, pero kailangan mo ayusin. Eventually, I was nominated by my professor, and I was a lot of my peers, a lot of my mentors pushed me to take it. I'm really not someone that applies to awards or grants, quote unquote. Well, we do apply to grants, pero to individual awards, hindi talaga. And so, when I was nominated, then after the 3 month screening process and being one of the 40 out of thousands, it's something that I still can't believe to this day. It has opened so much opportunities for me. um, Actually, if it weren't for the pandemic, we were to be flied to New York to have the Just Peace Summit, which is the convention of all the global team leaders. But yeah, it's been a very fruitful experience. But despite the learnings, despite the exclusive summit that we were invited, despite the honor, which has scaled not just my reach but the organization. Um, yeah, the goal is to pass it forward, to create more global team leaders, to continue our mission, to scale it, and we have. Not to mention, before ASEAN Youth Advocates Network, my first organization was Youth Advocates for the Philippines, and last August 12th, because of winning global team, no, we did decide to scale and have another launched organization in the Global Youth Advocates Network. And so it's been this magnificent journey that was never planned, pero mukha siyang planado, but it was really never. So yeah, it's an it's an experience that I will never forget, but it's something that I will continue to move forward on and passing. But to always remember to pass on the opportunity that I have.
Yan. Well, deserve mo naman, Myrus, yung kung ano man yung nakuha mo. Hindi naman nila isasuggest yun kung hindi mo deserve yun. Diba? Agree ka ba dun,
True.
partner?
True na true. And talagang patunay din itong guest natin talaga, partner Eugene, na if you really think outside the box, anything can happen, no? Hindi mo lang talaga isolate yung sarili mo in this siguro four-sided world, but if you really look um, deeper and wider, many things can happen, and that's what actually happened with our guest for tonight. Parker, do you have some more questions?
Yeah. Tell us about your most exciting and most challenging experience as a global youth advocate.
Exciting and challenging. Okay, exciting. Honestly, every day I'm really excited. Well, so what excites me is, of course, interacting with people, getting to know their stories. Honestly, at times, I don't know, let's say a donation drive or an outreach, I try not to. I want to communicate with as much as many people as much as possible, but I'm very emotional. I'm the type of individual na naiiyak kapag nakarinig ng story, and I get to dive and overthink kung ano sa may sinabi man silang brief overview ng buhay nila, mapapaisip ako, mapapa-reflect ako sa sarili kong buhay, tapos mapapayak ako. But yeah, other than that, getting to meet people that are very enthusiastic, um, our mission have actually been very impactful through testimonies of a lot of people. What it really excites me, of course, not that I've always been told to fall in love with the problem which we have, but getting excited with the opportunities, with things that we did not expect. Especially being awarded as a global team leader, I did not expect that, but yeah, it's these are things that you really don't want to expect, but eventually, the excitement of continuing this voluntarily is what really keeps us forward, making a bond with fellow volunteers as well. Challenges, I think every day there's a challenge, and I'm someone that braces challenges kasi agad. I mean, facing the youth ng ang raming makukulit is already a big challenge, but yeah, there's this big boundary of making sure that they're aligned and to becoming genuine in service, because I would always say this, and whenever I am given a chance to speak, corruption may be something nationalistic, but it really starts in our own values. It starts with our own values, morals, and principles. And so we can be corrupt as well. And so let's try to shift that, especially when it comes to leadership, where we are given such a power to influence. And so to make sure that all of our advocates, all of our volunteers are genuine enough to serve, to volunteer because they want to be more for others but not themselves, is the challenge that we continue to remain. We may be happy of our results. Let's say we benefited already more than 100,000 individuals, but at the end of the day, 30,000 man kaming kabataan. The Filipino youth population is still one third, and so the mission continues. And it doesn't stop there. There's ASEAN, there's the global network that we have, and so understanding all of that, it really remains to be a challenge. But we want to fall in love with that challenge every single day.
Ayan. Myrus, dahil may power ka to influence young advocates, ano sa tingin mo or masasuggest mo or any messages na in their own simple ways, tapos lalo na ngayong gantong pandemya, ano sa tingin mo ang pwede nilang or maaari nilang gawin para makatulong?
Yeah, sa mga kapwa kabataan na Pilipino, of course, first is to register to vote and extend na. Huwag na tayong raming, no? Please do register to vote. Number two is to be educated. This is the simplest form of becoming civil as a Filipino. So I would suggest for you, heavily suggest you to do that. I actually volunteer for a non-partisan volunteer organization called Election 2022 Coalition, and we really do encourage you to vote for our tomorrow para sa bukas natin. Number two is continue to be sharply awakened. Be sharply awakened, yet be reasonably disturbed. Um, this world is was done by our past by the past youth, and now that we're given the opportunity, now let's pass the baton moving forward. Number three, I want you to always reflect. So I would always say this: in our world, for the better or for worse, anong gagawin mo? I may be here in this platform to mention and say so many things that may be insightful or educational, but at the end of the day, it's on us to act. And so my question is, will you, and how will you? I'm not here to force, but I hope that you do get to find that advocacy of yours and act upon that advocacy of yours. So yeah.
That's right. Marius, wow, napaka-inspiring ng episode na to, and hearing from a legit global advocate, Marius, talagang inspiring and really opened up my, my insights, my, understanding in terms of the advocate of positive things, advocate of positive impact na talagang makakatulong in order for us to live in a better place. Tama ba, partner?
Yes, tama yun. Kaya kayo, mga youth, alam nyo kayo ang kinabukasan ng ating panahon. So, in your own small little ways, you can change the world. Always remember that.
Yes, that's right. Marami pa talaga tayong tanong actually sa ating guest for tonight in this episode of Chicha Fridays by I'm Making a Difference. But we really don't have the luxury of time, Iris. But before ka namin bitawan, let's end this very interesting conversation on a lighter note. Myros, we have prepared some fun segment with the Chicha Minute. So, are you ready in this
Yes,
segment, Myros?
yes. Born ready.
Yes. Yes, already given a lot of opportunities being a global advocate. But this time, gusto namin malaman with this very special segment kung ano yung mga gagawin mo given this following situations na babangkitin ko with our fun segment na tatawagin kung bibigyan ka ng pagkakataon. Ayan. So, for example,
Okay.
Myrus, bibigyan ka ng pagkakataong mag-teleport, saan mo gustong pumunta at bakit. In a very quick and, in a snap of finger na sagot doon sa mga ibibigay kong situation. So, for the very first situation, Myrus, ayan, kung bibigyan ka ng pagkakataon na maging magician, ano ang mga bagay na gusto mong mawala at bakit?
Ang gusto kong mawala ay yung mga taong hindi totoo.
Ayan.
Bakit?
Kung
Hindi ako
bibigyan
kaya.
yes. Kung bibigyan ka ng pagkakataong maging boksingero, sino ang unang taong susuntukin mo?
Si Mayweather.
Bakit?
Para ako makatalo ng unbeaten streak niya.
Myros, kung bibigyan ka ng pagkakataong maging presidente ng Pilipinas, ano ang una sa plataforma mo at bakit?
Healthcare for all. We deserve that. It's our number one priority. Our pandemic has mentioned that. So, yeah, for sure. Healthcare for all.
Ayan. And for the very last, Myros, kung bibigyan ka ng pagkakataong maging multo, kanino ka magpaparamdam at bakit?
Nako, sa nanay ko.
Bakit?
Para makinig siya sa akin.
On that note, thank you very much, Myros, for being such a good sport and for being with us on this episode of Chicha Fridays. Mga gustong pasalamatan before we let you leave?
Salamat sa lahat. Thank you so much for having me. Let's have a great weekend, everyone. Have a great October. And yeah, pada yun lang. Kaya natin lahat to. Have an amazing week, everyone.
Yes. Thank you, Myros. Ingat and stay safe and stay away sa COVID.
Thank you.
Yes, partner. Thank you again, Myros, for joining us in this episode of Chicha Fridays by I Am Making a Difference. Partner?
Yes, thank you, friends.
Yes. Mga gusto natin i-acknowledge sa pasalamatan, partner.
Ay, sorry. By the way, thank you again, all partners and donors, for being part of IMAD's Vida Escuela Year 2. Thank you for the new channel family for your donation also.
Ayan. Yan, to know more about I Am Making a Difference, we support our initiative by following and messaging us on Facebook. Search lang po guys sa facebook.com/I Am Making a Difference. You may also listen to our volunteer stories on podcast via anchor.fm/I Am Mad or bit.ly/madtalks Spotify. Once again, mula po dito sa Davao City, Philippines, ako si DJ J Lagang para sa Bayan.
And remember, charity begins at home and extends to the communities beyond our walls. Join us again next week at 6:30 p.m. Friday, Philippine Standard Time, as we make the start of your every weekend lighter and lovelier with civic engagement conversations that go far beyond politics and chismes. So as we end this episode, like we always do, let's treat ourselves with this weekend's Chicha Fridays extra special sound session. Chillax, watch, and listen to another music video version of the official song of I Am Mad's Vida Escuela, which we launched last week here on TNC. Here's an original composition arranged by John Kenneth Dael from Teatro Rizal of Jose Rizal University. Music and lyrics by John Kenneth Dael, also in collaboration with Balin Lagunila. So this song is led by John Kenneth Dael himself and Balin Lagunila, and joining them will be our own host, Small J. Jaljunam, Minute J. Minute Georgia, J-Lo, Lori Ople, together with IMI Production Supervisor for Chica Fridays Root Tutad, plus volunteers AJ Ramos and Belin Robiso Dating. With the other Vida Escuela influencer, Chichalers and Friends, let's listen to the official song of Vida Escuela titled Maging Vida. I am AJ April Maisag, ang kaladkaring man from the East, training from Cainta Rizal. This is Chica Fridays by IMAD para sa masayang bayanihan, sinatalakayan, charity at kulita. Chit Chatters, DJ, mad ka na ba?
Bye na! Thank you, Parker! Thank you! Happy weekend! Sa ating viewers. Thank you so much!
Munting barya ay may mararating kung gagamitin sa magagandang hangarin. Sa tulong na bigay, buong pusong ay alay, tiyak may magpapagong buhay. Maging bida sa pagbibigay ng saya, ikaw ko sila, tayo na tumulong tara. Maging bida sa pagbabahagi ng ngiti, kapit kamay tara at maging bida.
Ito na ang pagkakataon, kapit bisig at harapin ang kinabukasan. Bawat tuwang hatid, pasalamat ang batid, walang maiiwanan, walang tatalikuran.
Maging bida sa pagbibigay ng saya, ikaw ko sila, tayo na tumulong para. Maging bida sa pagbabahagi ng ngiti, kapit kamay tara at maging bida.
Sa mundong puno ng mulot pangamba, malaki o maliit, basta bukas sa puso ang gawang magtulong, magbahagi ng pag-ibig. Ikaw ay bida, ikaw ay bida.
Bida sa pagbibigay ng saya, ikaw ako sila, tayo na tumulong tara. Maging bida sa pagbabahagi ng ngiti, kapit kamay tara. Maging bida sa pagbibigay ng pag-asa, ikaw ako sila, tayo na tumulong tara. Maging bida sa pagbabahagi ng ngiti, kapit kamay tara. Kapit kamay tara at maging bida. Maging bida, maging bida, maging bida. Kapit kamay tara at maging bida.
dreaming of launching your own podcast but don't know how and where to start? Let ValuePod Productions podcast editing and management services help you effortlessly launch, syndicate, and grow your podcast. Message us at facebook.com/ValuePodProductions. ValuePod Productions podcast editing and management services, humanizing personal connections through podcasting.